Hi there, Fred Evander here with Amy Christensen and Andre at 615 Monmouth Street. And Andre, what do you know about your house?
Not a lot. I know it was built in 1895. I know it's beautiful. I know I fell in love with it the second I saw it. That's about it.
Perfect. Well, hopefully we can help you know more about your house.
So I will dive in a little bit. First, of course, I want to acknowledge that we're on the ancestral lands of the Kalapuya people. When we head into that time frame of when we had the donation land claims going on here, this was the land claim of a John E. Davidson. His home, his historic home, is actually just a little bit up on Monmouth Street as well. He and his wife lived here throughout the 1800s. He was a physician here in town, passed away here. His wife passed away here. At one point, they sold this part of their donation land claim to a man named Francis A. Patterson. Now, Francis A. Patterson was a very successful agriculturalist in Polk County. He and his wife Caroline had 10 kids, one of which became governor of Oregon, Isaac Patterson. So they owned this property, and the reason that they bought it was actually to further develop Independence. So this is actually what is Lot 1, Block 1 of Patterson's addition to Independence. So he was a developer. So in 1886, pretty recent from the time he had purchased it, the Parker family purchased this land. The Parker family were successful hop farmers. They had come to the area in the 1880s. They purchased quite a few lots of land. And so in 1886, it was the wife, she passed it to her husband, they passed it to their sons. It went through multiple Parker family names. And ultimately, while I was digging in, I was able to find some research that shows the house was actually here in 1890. So it's a little bit earlier than we had thought on the registry. I found multiple evidences for this, including a newspaper article that I'll go into, but also in the Sanborn fire insurance maps, it does show this exact spot on the lot, the same shape of the house in 1890. So that's kind of a fun thing to learn, yeah. But ultimately, Charles Mattison bought this property from the Parkers in 1902. He is their grandson and nephew. So it was in this family since 1886, continued in the same family. So Charles Mattison's story is interesting because they were incredibly successful hop farmers just on the east side of the river. He was a city councilor. He owned several businesses on Main Street and owned many, many properties. He passed away here in 1906. And his wife continued, her name was Nora. She continued here until 1921 when she passed away. And they both passed away here on this property. Yeah. They passed this property on to their son, William, in the 20s. And William, so we're still in the same family, Parker's, Mattison's. William Mattison and his wife, Lula, they raised their kids here. He was the janitor for Independence High School and the groundskeeper. So he had a really neat connection. Everyone who lived here and had a connection to Independence High School would have known Will Mattison. And he, his sons and daughters, they had 2 boys, 2 girls. They all went to Independence High School during that era that he was the janitor. So they would have seen Dad at work, which is pretty fun. They all graduated from there. So that he actually stayed in this home until he passed away in 1961. So we have a 100-year history of one family on this property, which is really neat. And then just one more quick note of interest about the Mattisons. They actually also owned additional property on Monmouth Street. And in the historic registry, it does list Charles Mattison as the builder of this home and 2 others down near 5th Street. And in doing this research, I actually don't think that that's true. I think his uncles built this house, and he did, his son, William Mattison, passed those properties on after their parents had passed 2 siblings, so they were all in the family, but builders are unknown. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, just really quick before we get into the specifics of the construction and architecture, I wanted to show you. So this, I'm going to give you these. These are the Sanborn fire insurance maps that show you the structure was here in 1890. But I also have an image of Nora, who lived here from 1902 until 1921. So this is the woman who lived here and passed away here in the home and passed it to her son. Yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, she looks like a really kind lady.
I'm gonna frame that. It's gonna go on my wall.
I'll send you a digital copy. And then I just wanted to show you this for interest as well. This is the high school that William was janitor and all of his children would have attended. Yeah, which is now no longer standing, but it used to be down at the end of 5th Street.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so one thing I wanted to show you from our museum collection is that we do have the
Hold that for you.
Letterman jacket of Charles and Nora's son, Charles, who went to Independence High School. He graduated in the 1930s, and this was his jacket that he wore at that time, which is a really fun piece of Independence history.
That's amazing. It even has his name right here. That's so cool.
That is totally.
These are the Hogwarts colors too.
So for these, I talk about the building style. The building style is very unique, right? It's what you call an Italianate building. It's a style that was common from like the 1850s to the 1880s. So this is sort of like just outside of the period when it was sort of common. It got popularized sort of in the same way that things get popularized nowadays. It was like pattern books, right? And so people would find these like architectural pattern books and they're like, I want that style. And so that's sort of how this spread through the country. The amazing thing about it and the things that distinguish a style are the eave brackets along the roof line, along that frieze right there. A lot of them also have hoods over the windows, so if you see them, they'll be, a lot of times they're kind of curved hoods. These are just sort of pronounced pieces of trim over the windows, same sort of idea. And then little things too on the sides. So a lot of the sides of buildings have detailing to emphasize the side, and you can see that there is a little piece of trim with a little header on that really makes this part of that Italianate style. It's a very cool style. It's one of my favorite architectural styles. I love it. So I love this house. Now the amazing thing about it too is a lot of these things typically have 3 to 5 windows. When you look at them, they're kind of symmetrical. The thing about this house though is it's not symmetrical. It's just slightly off. It's slightly not symmetrical, and when I see that, I could say, oh well, that's not all that great. But the cool thing about it is, I think whoever built this had a reason to not make it symmetrical, and I can completely get behind it, rather than just sort of like doing what was common or normal. He adapted the style to fit his needs, and I think that's a very cool thing. Now, another thing that I'll just say is when this thing was built, it had no porch on it. And a lot of these Italianate houses have porches in various configurations. This one did not have a porch on it when it was built. And Amy found that the porch was built somewhere around the 20s. So that's very cool. Now, just looking at those Sanborn maps, again, from 1902, you can see there was a porch added, but when you look, but that's not that porch. That's just a portion of that porch. And when you look at the original time, 1890, you can see there is no porch on that building. Now, one thing I will call out too is it's interesting because when I look at this house, I would have thought that it was just this square that got built first, right? You know, because that's sort of the main sort of volume, the main sort of design emphasis. But amazingly, there was a rear addition from the start of this house, and I think that's very interesting. I wouldn't have anticipated that. But the rear addition that you see here is not the rear addition that you have. This is showing that as a 1-story addition off the back, and you have a 2-story addition. I think that's very interesting. So that's sort of what I found out about this house. Andre, I really like it. It's a very cool house.
Thank you. I love this house.
Hey, just to tag on to what you were saying, because this is just a theory, this is not historic fact, but the uncle that owned the property in 1890 was an architect. So I was figuring he may have been the one who designed and built this house, and his name was Sherman Atlanta Parker, which, he was quite a Yankee. So it's interesting.
Cool. So that's pretty much what we found out about your house. I guess it's nice sharing it with you, Andre.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is awesome. And it's funny that you mentioned that it's not symmetrical, because I had never noticed that until now. Yeah. I'm like, something wrong with this house. Yeah, that's so wild. But I like it. It's got more personality.
I think so too.